Yeah, yeah. All right, shalom, everybody. As you can see, the Lord gave me another opportunity to teach y'all on this Tuesday, and I like to teach. If you haven't noticed, but today class gonna be short. I ain't gonna make it long tonight. But it got some good stuff that I've been looking at last couple, or for a while actually. I ain't got no title, but maybe we can think of a title once I'm done. If we'll figure one out once I'm done. I just got some good information. Who reading? Isaac, you reading? Who reading over there? Isaac, you reading? Officer Isaac reading? Okay. I guess Officer Isaac reading for me today. It's all right. He a good reader.
All praise.
All right. We're going to open up. Give me the book of Psalms, chapter 83. Start at verse 1. Psalms 83 and 1. Everybody who know what Psalms 83 talking about? No, yes, hands raised. Okay, y'all know Psalms 83. All right, everybody, y'all ain't in the Christmas spirit, is y'all? Oh, Lord. All right, go ahead. Open up and read that.
Psalms chapter 83 and verse 1.
Come on.
Keep not thou silence, O God. Hold not thy peace, and be not still, O God. For lo, thine enemies make a tumult.
Right, so David is asking the Lord to don't forget his people. Don't forget us, Lord. It's a lot of evil that go on in this world, and a lot of it be unbeknownst to us, meaning we not privy to it. We don't see it. We ignorant to it. So a lot of times we open up our phones, we see evil stuff on the news in St. Louis. See evil stuff in the news, on world news, national news. It's a lot of evil stuff that go on to our people in particular, right? So David asked, and the Lord said, don't forget us, Lord. Don't forget us. Read verse 2 again.
For lo, thine enemies make a tumult.
Meaning God's enemies are gathering together. Come on.
And they that hate thee have lifted up the head.
They gathering together against God and his people. Let's keep reading. Come on.
They have taken crafty counsel
What
against.
What did they do?
They have taken crafty counsel against thy people.
You see that? These people don't just lift their head up against God to put themselves as God. That's the images, right? That's the Caesar Borgia. That's all the white images they put out through the world. That's them putting themselves as the ruling nation. That's them taking our identity. That's them speaking lies against us. That's them speaking all type of evil and casting laws against God's people and things like that, right? Read the verse again.
They have taken crafty counsel against thy people.
Come on.
And consulted against thy hidden ones.
Right. The hidden ones are us. We the ones hidden. We hidden in slums, ghettos. We hidden all across the world in the corners. Nobody knows who we are. That's how we know we've been hidden, right? Keep reading.
They have said, come and let us cut them off from being a nation.
They said what?
Come and let us cut them off from being a nation.
Now, I like this verse a lot because it said, let us cut them off from being a nation, right? When we've been cutting off from being a nation, now I like to say this. I ain't said it in a while, but when you think about the word nation, right? Look up the definition of the word nation. I ain't put this in there, but look up the definition of the word nation. Look that up for me. He tried to argue about nation. He did, didn't he? About race and whatnot. Read that.
Nation, a country considered as a body of people united by common descent, history, culture, or language.
Okay, keep going.
Inhabiting a particular area or territory.
Scroll down some. I want to see what else they got.
Country, state, land, a body of people having a common descent, history, culture, or language, but without a separate or politically independent territory.
Okay, I don't really like those. But the point is, when you think about the word nation, you don't think about black people. Matter of fact, click on images. I just want to see what Google will say. You got to click on definition, then you'll click the images. I want to see what pop up. Okay, they got black stick man. Scroll down. Scroll down. Okay, there go white people. I don't see no black people. Scroll down. Okay, keep going. Got some Native Americans. Nope. No, I don't see no black people. The point is, when you think about this word, you don't think about black people. Black people, the last thing pop up in your head. When you think about nations, you think about America, Russia, China, France. You think about stuff like that. You don't think about Negroes. So when you read Psalms 83:4, read it again.
They have said, come and let us cut them off from being a nation, that the name of Israel may be no more in remembrance.
Right. We've been cut off from being a nation. You don't think about us being a nation. Although we are a nation, it doesn't pop up in your head. When you think about the nation of Israel, you think about white people. Matter of fact, we don't associate. It's so what's the word I'm looking for? It's so far-fetched for people to even associate Negroes with Israel. You tell a black person that they the Israelites, they be ready to fight you. It's so far-fetched. That's how you know this verse real. You understand? Read it. Keep reading.
For they have consulted together with one consent. They are confederate against thee.
You see that? All the nations are confederate against Israel, making sure we never understand who we are, making sure nobody looks at us and say, yeah, that's a nation right there. We don't even look at ourselves as a nation. You understand? You got something?
Yeah, to land back off of the point you were saying about them not considering us a nation, like you got white nationalists, you know what I'm saying? So you think a nation, you think, oh, white people, you know what I'm saying, being for white people. But whenever you never hear the term black nationalists. And when it was brought about, what they do to all them brothers that was for nationhood?
They
killed them. They destroyed them. All the movements was suppressed, put down, and then erased out of history. And we don't learn about these things. So, like Officer is saying, when it comes to nationhood, the black community has no idea what that means.
Exactly, 100%. So that to set up what we finna look at. Give me Deuteronomy chapter 28, verse 16. We finna get a couple scriptures. Then I got some videos and some aids and stuff like that.
Deuteronomy chapter 28 and verse 16.
15, excuse me.
Verse 15. But it shall come to pass, if thou wilt not hearken unto the voice of the Lord thy God, to observe, to do all his commandments and his statutes which I command thee this day, that all these curses shall come upon thee and overtake thee.
Read verse 16.
Cursed shalt thou be in the city.
So the scripture says curse is going to come upon us and overtake us when we decide not to listen to God's commandments. One of those curses is to be cursed in the city. And it also goes into Psalms 83 when it says our enemies shall cut us off from being a nation, right? Get me Lamentations 1:1. I think that's what I want. It's plots and schemes against us to make sure we never rise up and remember who we are. What I asked for?
Lamentations chapter 1, verse 1.
Yeah, let me get there. Let me make sure that's what I want. Yep, that's it.
How doth the city sit solitary?
It says, how does the city sit solitary? Read.
That was full of people.
What was the city?
That was full of people.
The city used to be full of people. They say, how does the city sit solitary that used to be full of people? Come on.
How is she become as a widow? She that was great among the nations and princess among the provinces, how is she become tributary?
So how did this happen to us? How did we fall so low? Now, like I said before, it's levels to it, right? We know about it on the global broad scale, but today we're going to dig into St. Louis, right? We from St. Louis, so we're going to dig into St. Louis. Y'all may not think that St. Louis, it ain't been plots and schemes to make sure that we never rise up or to make sure that the people, the blacks and Hispanics in St. Louis stay on the bottom. It's not by coincidence. It's not normal for us to drive up and down our streets in our communities and it looked the way it looked. I was driving through Baton the other day with my wife, and it's just like, I was like, dang, this used to be a place of business. People used to come out here. Now it's like maybe one or two businesses on the street, all the awnings on the buildings falling off, hanging off. It's just been sitting there. I bet they still sitting there right now. This was a couple days ago. Ain't nobody picked it up. How we live in communities like this and we just think it's normal? That's a sick mindset. What you got?
That's Isaiah 1:3 where the Lord says, my people doth not consider. Because that's like, we never thought, you see Baton, now you like, oh, this place could have never been great. You know what I'm saying? They could have never been nothing. No, we used to have thriving pockets in the city where our people dwelt at in St. Louis, but that history has been erased. Now you think of St. Louis, you think of Sexy Red, you think of Top 10 of murders, you think of Nelly, you think of all this evil stuff,
all evil.
but you don't never think of black people unifying and doing positive things. That's been cut off from our remembrance.
Exactly. So, get me Sirach 5 and 5, and then we're gonna pull up 101. After we read this scripture, we're gonna look at 101.
Sirach chapter 5 and verse 5.
Mm-hmm.
Concerning propitiation, be not without fear to add sin unto sin.
That's what I want. Hold on, let me see. That is not what I want. Where does scripture say, "Be not ignorant in a small matter"? I thought that was it. The 2 and 5. I thought it was Sirach 5:15. Yeah, it's 15. Yep.
Sirach chapter 5 and verse 15.
Mm-hmm.
Be not ignorant of anything in a great matter or a small.
So we may not think it's important for us to know how things got the way they got in St. Louis area, but the scriptures say don't be ignorant in great things or small things. Understand what the heck going on around you. Don't be ignorant. Don't be lost in the sauce out here. You understand? So we're going to look at some information. Pull up 101, right? What does it mean when it said curse in the city? Like Officer Maccabees was saying, I only had the time to touch on a couple of them today, but we're going to talk about Kinloch. Who familiar with Kinloch? Everybody know Kinloch? You got one brother, two brothers in here know it. Y'all don't know what, none of you sisters know what Kinloch is? Okay, got three sisters know what Kinloch is. They not from St. Louis? Okay, some of y'all ain't from St. Louis. Okay. Kinloch is a ghost town. We're going to talk about Kinloch, Wellston, and we're going to talk about North St. Louis City. That's what we're going to talk about today. Pull up 101. Kinloch.
They say it was noise pollution. So what they did, all the people, old folks, they picked them in prison, and they bought their houses out for $18,000, $20,000, $20,000. So they got to where they moved to, all the other cities. They did before they, from being poor, pay for the buildings, pay for the houses. It was just a scam,
This is Kinloch, Missouri.
Pause it real quick, because you could barely understand what he was saying. Who understood? Nobody understand what he was saying? Yeah, what he was saying was the people in Kinloch, this happened around the 80s, I believe. The people in Kinloch, it's a community right next to Berkeley. Y'all familiar with UMSL University? Who know UMSL University? UMSL is right next to, it's in Ferguson, around that area. Kinloch was an established black community in the late 1800s, or early 1900s, excuse me, after slavery. It was a black community that was established. Then in the 1980s, the airport wanted to expand, right? The airport, Lambert Airport. They bought out, it's going to explain in the video, they bought out many of the properties that was in this area. Many of the people that lived in these homes was black people. They bought their homes, like he was saying, for $18,000, $20,000, right? That's what the dude just said. So that's what he was trying to say, but I know it was kind of hard to understand him. He playing.
A town betrayed by the government. A town that's become a dumping ground full of abandoned cars and derelict homes. But it wasn't always like this. It was founded in 1890 as one of the oldest African American communities in Missouri. It was home to Barrett Brooks, a football player, Maxine Waters, an American congresswoman, and Huey, a famous rapper who was shot and killed not far from this town. The town flourished until the 1980s when the U.S. government decided to buy up the entire town as part of a noise abatement program for the St. Louis airport. The government also demolished most of the town of Bridgeton, Missouri.
You see that?
Some
Pause it. You see, these used to be homes right here. This is a community. Then you see, go back a couple of seconds, just so we can see that transition. You see, then they turn, right there. You can just play it and pause it.
The government also demolished.
So you see,
most
pause
of the
it. Oh no, you good. Leave it right there. You see, they turn all of that to runway. They turn all that to runway. These used to be people's houses, right? Now, some people may say, well, they bought their houses. They gave them money for the house. Okay, yeah, they gave them money for them houses. Excuse me. But where these people go? Damn. You gave people money. You gave people money to move. Where you think all these people went? A lot of these people went to the north side of St. Louis, North City, or they moved into other North County, right? And we're going to get into that later. But keep playing the video. Now we seeing how this community just, like, it look horrible now. You can go there right now. How far away is Kinloch from? Oh, maybe like 10 minutes, if that. Keep playing. Stop at 3 minutes.
Town of Bridgeton, Missouri. Some parts redeveloped into warehouses, others the runway, and many parts still remain unused today.
Oh, what the f are they doing?
My team and I drove into town, not knowing what to expect.
Holy, just abandoned roads. Alright, we're gonna have to go off-road.
Y'all see all this trash?
The warehouse in the background is the only new development that's happened since the 1980s.
So today we're in the town of Kinloch, Missouri, and it's hard to see with the sun glare here, but there's just rows and rows and rows of abandoned buildings. The streets are almost undrivable. I had to off-road right there to get down here, actually. All these streets by the airport are just completely trashed. Let's take a look around.
Yeah, 3 minutes.
It's a bit hard to see.
All right.
But yeah, these are all just kind of empty buildings, to be honest. But there's quite a bit of them.
According to local news, an evil corporation is responsible for most of the dumping in town. Only recently had they cracked down on the dumping.
No, they didn't.
Oh, here's a better angle. Yep, there's quite a few buildings here. They're actually starting to build a lot of warehouses out here now.
They got the Amazon
All around
warehouse
this
out
town.
there.
For some reason, they're not tearing down the buildings, but just all the empty land around. Maybe it's too much of a biohazard, too much work.
All right, read Lamentations 1:1 again. Now y'all see this. Now they didn't show it on the video, but if you go, I drove over here a couple of times. I've been over here before. My cousin used to live over here, so I used to drive over there a lot. I got my first ticket in Kinloch. I don't know how I get it. I don't know. Anyways, but the point is, people still live over there. You didn't see it, but if you literally go, if they would have went maybe like 2 blocks to the left or the right, it's still people that live over there. They live over there. People come over there. They dump cars over there. They dump their old furniture. Streets blocked with garbage, with piles, mountains of garbage. Like this look like we in the islands or something over there, right? It look horrible over here. This right around the corner. This in our neighborhood. This used to be a thriving black neighborhood. Read what you got.
Lamentations chapter 1 and verse 1.
Uh-huh.
How doth the
Come on.
city sit
They
solitary?
said, how the city sit solitary? That was a ghost town. It looked like Chernobyl. Looked like a nuke went off in this doggone town. It said, how the city sit solitary? Come on.
That was full of people.
It was what?
full of
It
people.
used to be full of people. How it get like this? We just saw it. It said the government bought these homes out and just left this community abandoned. Left this black community abandoned. People still live over there, though. A couple people still live over there, but it looked like a ghost town. Was that it on that?
How is she become as a widow?
It said a widow. A widow mean you unprotected, you alone. Read.
She that was great among the
We
nations.
used to be great among the nations. We used to be the ruling class. And when we finally got a little bit of speck of something good, this what happened to it. Come on.
And princess among the provinces.
Read.
How is she become tributary?
Now we pay taxes to them. We at they whim. This is how we fall. That's Psalms 83 what we just saw. Now pull up, what was the next one? 102 Wellston. Now I live right around the corner. I don't live in Wellston, but I live right around the corner from Wellston. I drive through it to come to the school. So I see this community all the time. I don't live in Wellston, though. I don't live in Wellston. Now, play that. Play 102. It's another black community. Another black community. Y'all got it? It's a Facebook link. It's only a minute and some change. Where the sound at? Start it over, bro. I need the sound. Some of y'all might not have knew what Wellston was. Who know what Wellston is? Okay, got a couple people know what Wellston is. Word of sound.
Wellston Loop along
Start it
Easton, now
over.
Martin Luther
Start it
King.
over. It's only a minute long.
It was once a place bustling with activity. The Wellston Loop along Easton, now Martin Luther King, was one of the city's busiest shopping districts, and tens of thousands of streetcar and bus passengers passed through the trolley station every day. But that was then.
And then it fell into disrepair, like so much around us in the community that we're standing in, and it's really quite a shame.
But the 1909 building, which has long been unused and empty, may well make a comeback. Partners led by the Friendly Temple Church have obtained the building and surrounding property with plans to turn it once again into a neighborhood hub.
Well, we have ideas about a community garden and a playground, a coffee shop, because we don't have one in this area. And we're happy to create a destination so not only businesses but provide services that the community needs. And this can be a wonderful place for families to come.
But while they do have
Nah, them
plans,
black
they
folks.
don't have all the money they need to carry them out yet. Not even enough to take the first step, stabilizing this old building. But they are determined to transform this remnant of the past and once again make this a neighborhood that is going places.
It's absolutely accomplishable. Absolutely.
For Living St. Louis, I'm Jim Kirchner.
All right, that's it on that. So, we see Wellston used to be a thriving community as well. Now it's tore down, right? It's tore down. It looked bad. And then you got the sister from Friendly. Who know what Friendly Temple is? Anybody know what Friendly Temple is? A couple people. Now, Friendly Temple, a big old church, right? It's like $1 million church. They own like all of this block. They got a daycare. They got apartment buildings. Apparently, they didn't bought this. Now, this video came out in 2021. It came out in 2021. I ain't seen them do nothing. I drive past this building all the time. Wellston still got prostitutes right in front of the church. They still got dope fiends right in front of the church. It's still gun violence all over the place in Wellston. So before they talking about building a coffee shop, how about they talking about getting these people off these drugs? They got dope fiends right in front of the church, right in Friendly Temple. $1 million church, but they said they ain't got the money. I don't know. Lord's will they do something with it? I don't know, but I highly doubt they do. Now, get me 103. Now I get 103. We're gonna play the first 4 minutes, and then we're gonna jump to 15. And come on, and then to we just go from there. But yeah, start 103. 103. Now we're gonna talk about North City, right? So we talked about these two suburbs, Kinloch and Wellston. Those are suburbs. That's not St. Louis City. Now we can talk about the north side of St. Louis, right? Who from the north side of St. Louis in here? Got a couple people from the north side. Okay, my people's from the north side. Now play this. Now remember, hold on, pause it. Remember Psalms 83. As we watching this, remember Psalms 83. Y'all think these people ain't evil as hell. Play this. It said benign neglect.
Our story begins essentially where it ends, on the streets of North St. Louis, in spots where you can see the gleaming Gateway Arch, but the prosperity and investment around it seem a million miles away. The latest solution being offered comes from two billionaires, Jack Dorsey, the St. Louisan who co-founded Twitter, and Bill Pulte, a mega-rich Detroiter from a building background. They say tearing much of this down, getting rid of the blight, is the answer to the problem. The local alderman is right on board.
We're getting rid of the slum and blight so that developers can see the vision of rebuilding our community. We are standing on fertile soil for development, ladies and gentlemen.
But what if we told you this was the end result of a plan?
What did he
A
say? Hold on,
document
pause it. What did he just say? He said, what if we told you this was the end result of a plan? What that mean? This ain't by chance. It's not by accident. It's not by accident then all them buildings look like that. Now they turn it down. He finna explain. Come on.
More than 4 decades ago, essentially calling for triage on a dying city, offering step-by-step instructions on how to let neighborhoods crumble. That document exists. The official name was Citywide Implementation Strategies, the Draft Comprehensive Plan. But for those around in the early and mid-'70s, when it was written and then published, it is identified by the name of the consulting company that wrote it. They call it Team 4.
But that Team 4 plan, it was, mess was kind of racist too.
Could you have done it without sounding racist or looking racist? I don't know. It's a great question.
The plan was a response to this report from 1973, the Rand Report, read like an obituary for the city of St. Louis, saying, as things stand, the most likely prognosis is continued decline, and continuing, the city of St. Louis might assume a new role as a large suburb among suburbs.
Pause it. So what they were saying was, because a lot of people was leaving St. Louis City, a lot of white people started leaving St. Louis City, and they was worried about how they was going to continue to grow St. Louis. St. Louis was going to go into a decline. So now they like, okay, we got to come up with an answer for this. So what they answer was when they said triage, meaning that they going to prioritize the most important things in the city, right? And they going to explain. Keep playing.
City leaders into a near panic and led two young aldermen, Richard Gephardt, who went on to become our most powerful congressman, and John Roach, who would eventually run the Community Development Administration, to lead a charge to make the plan into law. They put a pair of bills in front of the Board of Aldermen, Board Bills 19 and 20, which used the Team 4 plan as a model, then went farther in the eyes of many. A November 1973 article in the St. Louis Argus laid out the outrage elicited in the African-American community, quoting one of the bills, calling predominantly black North St. Louis, quote, an insignificant residential area not worthy of special maintenance effort.
Pause it. It says, this is what they said about the black community. It's an insignificant residential area not worthy of special maintenance effort. That's why the roads jacked up in the city. Y'all always talking to my wife. She be like, why the roads so jacked up around here? It's potholes everywhere. It's because they said we don't got enough money for this. We ain't giving no money to the city, no money to the black side of the city, because the city is split in half. Right? They said no money to the black side of the city. That's why the schools jacked up. That's why ain't no businesses. That's why it's vacant buildings everywhere. They did this on purpose. Keep playing.
The bills called for 74,000 buildings in predominantly white South St. Louis to be preserved and over 70,000 others in North St. Louis to be torn down.
You see that?
The African-American community was collectively beside itself.
That they were going to allow for North St. Louis to die on the vine. And that was when some folks had some concern, especially with this term about benign neglect.
Benign neglect was a phrase thrown around a lot back then, and on certain blocks in certain North Side areas, it appears to have been implemented.
I don't know that the phrase benign neglect is in the Team 4 plan. But in effect, if you're being kind, it actually is kind of what's happening, and it happens everywhere.
Bob Lewis is a professor at St. Louis.
You see, he trying to downplay it. Well, I don't know if they said that word verbatim, but it happens everywhere. No, they did that on purpose. Come on.
While he didn't work for Team 4 at the time the report was written, he joined them just a few years later.
So he worked for them now. He worked for that company that wrote these bills.
So if the plan doesn't talk about benign neglect specifically, what does it say? What did it propose?
What do you do with scarce resources? Put them where you think you're going to get the most leverage in order to save the body. And you can't always put them equally, more or less equally, or even equitably, if it's the right word, in the same place, in every place.
Pause it. So what did
he
just say?
It identified three types.
Hold on. What did he just say? He said they only got a limited amount of resources, so we're going to devote the resources to the spot where we think we're going to get the most return for our money. Meaning what? Black people ain't going to get no money, and they're going to put all the money towards the white community. That's why they said we're going to make sure we preserve 70,000 plus buildings in the south side of St. Louis, where the south of Delmar. We're going to talk about that in a second. The south side of Delmar, they gonna make sure they invest keep 74 what was it 74,000 buildings, and then on the north side they was gonna destroy 74,000 buildings. Not necessarily destroy, but let them crumble, let them fall apart. That's benign neglect. We're gonna talk about that in a second as well. Neglect. Remember that part, the benign neglect. Now they finna say how they determined what buildings and what areas fell into these categories. Keep playing. Stop at 5.
Of areas. Conservation, your areas that are already nice, prospering. Redevelopment, places that have potential to attract investment and improve. And depletion. The depletion areas were the ones essentially being dubbed too far gone. Depletion area keys, the report says, no growth policy until firm market and adequate public resources are available.
Pause it. It said they're not gonna put no money in there until it's that don't even make sense. They said they're not gonna put money into the community until there's resources available. That don't make sense. How they gonna get resources and you said we not gonna give them resources? That's the requirement. The community already has to have resources in it. But if you don't give the community resources, how they gonna meet the quota? You understand? That's a play on words. They playing. That's a Jedi mind trick. Yes, that don't make sense. And 2 billionaires bought trying to buy all this stuff up, right? Now I keep playing. Now remember they said this was over 4 decades ago. This is 40, 50 years ago they put this plan into motion. Keep playing.
A depletion area. They are the areas of spotty city services and redlining.
Hold on, pause. I want to read. I don't want the white man to read. Read that, Isaac. They said this how they determine which part of the city was the depletion areas.
They are areas of spotty city services.
Spotty city services. That's your police response. You know, you call the police in the city. Now, one time I got a story. I didn't get into a car accident, but I was driving with my cousin, and he got into a car accident. We was both driving separately, but he was in front of me. He got into a car accident. He ran into this dude. It was the car's totaled. We called the police. They like, yeah, we off right now. What you mean we off? They like, it's our off hour. That what it mean when they say spotty city services. That lines up with that. So areas that got spotty city services, that includes the trash and the maintenance and the sewage and stuff like that too. But I just wanted to mention the bad police. And what they say?
And redlining.
Now we all know what redlining is. No, nobody pull up redlining. Maybe don't nobody know what redlining. Let's pull it up. I'm assuming. Pull up redlining. He's not. You right. Black community may not know. It's all right. We gonna find. Exactly. We just surviving. You find it. Redlining. I remember this Psalms 83. No, not redlining a car. Type in redlining real estate. Yeah, in real estate. Yeah, right. You just had it. It was just up there. No, redlining is one word. You all right? We got you. There you go, right there. Hold on. No, one end. Right there. There you go. That's the effects of redline. That's the poor city services. Okay. Read that.
It says redlining in real estate is the discriminatory practice of denying financial services.
Hold on. Remember what they said? They said we're not going to invest money into areas that don't have resources already. Redlining is a practice where the government or the officials purposely deny financial services. What was it?
Discriminatory practice of denying financial services.
That's what they do on purpose, right? So don't forget, they saying the same stuff over and over again, but they saying we ain't gonna help out people that ain't got nothing already. That's what they saying. But they don't help at all for the people that have anything. Keep going.
Like mortgages?
Mortgages. You can't get a mortgage for your house. How you think all them buildings got decayed? People that have money to invest. You think black people just like to live in squalor? No. They didn't have the money to do those things. Keep reading.
Or insurance.
And when things bad happen, they don't have home insurance to help. Remember what happened this summer in North St. Louis? Y'all remember? Anybody remember? What happened in North St. Louis? It was a tornado. tornado touchdown in the city, right? Tore up a bunch of houses in North St. Louis. Damn. You think them houses got fixed up? No, them houses did not get fixed up. Keep playing. Reading.
To residents of specific neighborhoods, typically minority or low-income areas.
Read.
Based on racial.
Based on what?
Racial or ethnic composition, rather than individual creditworthiness.
So it don't matter if you got an 800 credit score. You a nigga, they gonna redline you. They purposely prevent blacks that want to invest in places like North City, from buying those places, from buying these buildings and whatnot, right? Keep reading.
Originating from maps where lenders drew red lines around hazardous zones.
You see that? They drew lines on the map and said, this is where we gonna keep the niggas. That's exactly what that means. And redlining mean the government puts laws in place socially and or ordinances to keep black people in certain areas. Keep them from coming into our neighborhoods and keep them in their communities and make sure their communities trash and downtrodden. So when it said, go back to the video, when it says they are areas of spotty city services and redlining, where large numbers of the unemployment, you see that lots of people don't have jobs in these areas. How you think they ain't got no jobs in the area? If they don't get mortgages for their homes, you think people can get loans to start businesses? Everybody that live in the city, they don't work in the city. They got to go drive 2-3 hours away or whatever the hell. I live in the city. I don't work in the city. Ain't no jobs in the city. So what you think gonna happen? It's gonna be unemployment. Read that, Isaac.
Where large numbers of the unemployed, the elderly, and the recipients of welfare.
Now we know who on welfare. Black people on welfare. Now I know it's a lot of white people on welfare too, but a large majority of our people on welfare. Keep reading.
Are left to wait for assistance, which does not seem to be forthcoming.
So they already know that they saying the same. It's the third time they done said it. They said the areas that they not going to give the money to are going to be labeled as the depletion areas. And it says areas which does not seem to be, let me read it, where it say?
For assistance, which does not seem to be forthcoming.
Right, meaning they already know the assistance ain't going to never be there. Nobody's ever going to come help these people. Nobody is going to come restore these people, right? Give me real quick. Give me just lost my train of thought.
Lamentations 4:17.
Yes, yes, you were 100. Yes, that's what I want. Lamentations 4:17.
Lamentations chapter 4 and verse 17. As for us, our eyes as yet failed for our vain help.
You see that? Our eyes have failed for our vain help. It's still Negroes right now waiting on the white man to get them $1 for their house getting blown away on the north side. Whole neighborhoods, streets gone. This is one house left on the block. And lights halfway on. Nobody came to come help them. But if you go right across the street to the south side of St. Louis, they already look like ain't nothing ever hit.
Officer, when the tornadoes and the storms came, and you saw the devastation on both sides, but the same week, like days later, after they was assured that the storms were done happening, they came in with big efforts, big companies backing them up and supporting and rebuilding on the south of the Delmar Divide.
Right.
But then everything on the north side in the city, and opposite of that, whereas we've been redlined off, you see what? No help, no assistance.
No help. Nobody came to restore. Nobody came to help. Is that it on that?
In our watching, we have watched for a nation
that
could not save us.
They can't save us. They won't save us. They explicitly say in all their little bylaws, they will never save us. That's what we just read. They will never save the black man and his people. That's what we looking at. Damn. You right? Now finish playing that. Where we at? What's the marker? A minute marker. I want to stop at 5:20. Okay, keep playing.
Of the unemployed, the elderly, and the recipients of welfare are left to wait for assistance, which does not seem to be forthcoming.
Therefore, allowing it to accelerate the deterioration of North St. Louis.
The plan recommends cutting resources as much as possible without completely abandoning people, but at the same time working to ensure there is no growth and eventually the land can be cleared and banked for other uses. They recognize the contradictions even here in the.
So they said they recognize the contradictions, but they still doing it. They still doing it, right? You can drop that. Give me Ecclesiastes 4:1. So we gotta look at this stuff, man. These people, they be so nice. They are smiling in your face, but behind closed doors, they working plots like this for the last 50, 40 years. That's why they laugh at Negroes. Read what you got.
Ecclesiastes chapter 4 and verse 1.
Mm-hmm.
So I returned and considered all the oppressions that are done under the sun.
This is what we looking at. This is a part of the oppressions that's done under the sun. What we seen they did to these three communities. I had more. I had a couple more examples, but for sake of time, we're only going to touch 3. This just St. Louis. It's too much. It's just St. Louis. Read.
And behold, the tears of such as were oppressed.
You see that? You don't think these people weren't crying when they lost their houses, when they lost their jobs? Some of them lost their family members. You understand? Read.
And they had no comforter.
They had what?
No comforter.
Nobody came to comfort them. Nobody, none of them understand the scriptures and understand anything. Keep reading.
And on the side of their oppressors there was power, but they had no comforter.
You see that? We ain't got no power. We ain't got no power here in America. The reason why you live in the places that you live is not by chance. If you live in North County, most likely your family migrated from North City. Want to know why your family migrated from North City? Because when all these black communities that got tore down and taken away, it's more. They had one underneath by the Arch. They had another one in Midtown, where Harris Stowe is. It was called Mill Creek. They destroyed it, bought and put SLU University there. Where you think all these people moved to? A lot of them moved to North City. So now you got all these black people moving into the city, right? Now you got more people, but you still got the same amount of resources. What you think gonna happen? Damn. You got more people, but you don't got more resources. You don't got no jobs to get these people. What you think finna happen? Then a lot of people left and they went to North County because they thought they had better opportunities, they say, right? And it's a whole deep rabbit hole behind all of that. Some of y'all probably did that. Y'all used to live in North City and then y'all moved to North County. Now y'all moved to Spanish Lake, Jennings, Riverview, Hazelwood. Right, you think you just moved there by chance. No, that's not by chance. Give me Isaiah chapter 32 and verse 5. This ain't by chance. These people evil as hell. They make sure you stay where they want you to stay at. It ain't by chance. I'm gonna show you that some more. Read that.
Isaiah chapter 32 and verse 5. The vile person shall be no more called liberal.
Come on.
Nor the churl said to be bountiful.
The liberal, he gonna be seen. He really is the evil. The liberal is really the one that don't got your best interest. Like that white man that was in the video, he was like, well, you know, it didn't actually say that word. Hey, pull up the definition of benign neglect before we move on. It didn't actually say that word, but, you know, it was kind of racist, but it wasn't racist. You know, but my friend's black. He's about to say my best friend black in 2 seconds. That's a liberal. That's a liberal. But that man really got death and hatred in his heart. Keep reading.
For the vile person will speak villainy.
He gonna speak villainy. Come on.
And his heart will work iniquity.
They hearts work iniquity. That's what we seen. They move all these black people around, make sure their community's downtrodden. Come on.
To practice hypocrisy.
Then they practice hypocrisy. Remember they said in the video, he said, we see the contradictions in this, but we're gonna do it anyways. That's practicing hypocrisy. Come on.
And to utter error against the Lord.
And then they speak against God and his people. Come on.
To make empty the soul of the hungry.
How you make empty the soul of the hungry? You literally take the resources out their community. Damn. You literally take the grocery stores out their community. They call that what's it called when you can't get in a grocery store? The food deserts. You got food deserts. Ain't no which most black people can't go to a good grocery store in their community. If you go to a grocery store in your community, the produce bad. It don't taste the same.
We got Aldi.
Aldi.
We got Ruler Foods.
What is that?
Hey, the ghetto is right down. It's right down the street.
But if you go to Esau neighborhood, they got Ruler's Food too, and they got all good food.
the
up
good
there.
stuff.
They
Yeah,
got
but
good
it's-
stuff.
It's our Ruler Food.
Right.
You
That's
got ours and you
Ours
got
is
theirs.
messed up.
It's messed up in our communities. Literally, you got people that's living on. Didn't y'all just play a video the other day about the sister on food stamps that ate all junk food? Eating all junk food.
Honey bun.
Honey buns. Black people grow up on honey buns and hot chips and pickles. In the corner store, chicken man. You got something?
Hey, I just want to say, everything that they saying is real, because Officer Abraham actually used to deliver to different stores, and if he delivered to the wrong store, he'd get in trouble for that. So produce was supposed to go to a specific store, and if you didn't, it was punishment behind
So
that.
if he didn't drop off the rotten tomatoes at Union and Page on Goodfellow and Martin Luther King, then he get in trouble. See, that's crazy. Read verse 6 again.
For the vile person will speak villainy, and his heart will work iniquity, to practice hypocrisy.
Come on.
And to utter error against the Lord.
Read.
To make empty the soul of the hungry.
You see that? Read.
And he will cause the drink of the thirsty to fail.
The drink of that remind me of Detroit. Remember Flint, Michigan. Flint, Michigan. I know they still. I don't think some of them still ain't got no water, right? Water's still bad. That was how many years ago was Flint? That was years ago. I feel like that was almost a decade ago. They still ain't got no good water.
I remember we played a video with the brother. He was talking about how when we was younger we used to be able to drink water out the water faucets and stuff like that.
He was that.
He was like the water used to be good, you know what I'm saying? But now everybody getting water bottles. Like I used to think it was taboo to buy some water bottles. I'm like, what you gonna buy water bottles for when you got good nice water coming out the water faucet? But ever since Flint, black people been getting more and more water bottles. Now over there in Flint, all they use is water bottles. They don't drink out of the faucet at all.
Right. Y'all ever get the boiling advisories on y'all phone? Boil the water, because the water ain't right. Right. Keep reading it.
The instruments also of the churl are evil.
It says they instruments evil. What's they instruments? They like to write laws. They pass bills, redlining, Jim Crow. Keep reading.
He deviseth wicked devices to destroy the poor with lying words.
That's what we just read. Them people was lying. They wrote documents and documents just lying. Of all lies. That's what we just seen. Keep reading.
Even when the needy speaketh right.
And it don't matter how many, because they had activists in that video, right? They said black activists. It don't matter how well we speak. It don't matter how well you educated. It don't matter how much you point out their hypocrisies. They don't give a doggone. They will continue to destroy, kill, and murder. You understand? Now, drop that. Pull up 105. This a. Oh yeah. Let me see this. Remember it said benign neglect. Pull it up. Benign neglect. What that say? Got that from me, officer?
Benign neglect. Non-interference that is intended to benefit someone or something more than continual attention would.
It's another. Yeah, I don't like that one.
Go to the one on the Merriam.
Yeah, I was finna ask.
Go down. Keep going down. Scroll down. Right there. Merriam-Webster.
Yeah, that's it.
All right, benign neglect now. An attitude or policy of ignoring an often delicate or undesirable situation that one is held to be responsible for dealing with.
So exactly. People ignore us in these ghettos. We've forgotten in these slums. We've forgotten all across the world. Remember it says that they may forget the name of Israel? Damn. Nobody remembers us no more. These hidden people. And here it is. They say it's their responsibility. You can put that down. You can say it's they are captors, right? We're gonna go into that in a little second. They are captors. They would say they get mad at us for not following their laws. But when they don't follow their laws, it's no problem. It's no issue, right? That's the hypocrisy in it. You understand? Pull up 105, because they was talking about south and north of St. Louis. Right? Pull up 105. Come on. All right, look at that. You see this says St. Louis in the early 1900s, right? So you see everything north of, that'd be like, you see downtown. I don't know if y'all familiar with the geography of St. Louis. But you see downtown, obviously, that's the Mississippi River, and you got East St. Louis. Everything north of about Delmar and what streets run? Olive and stuff like that, you see they put all black people up in the north. On the south, they kept, that's the Forest Park, Central West End, the South Side, right? Some of the South Side. They kept, these the areas. You see how St. Louis is segregated. That's the redlining. Redlining did that, right? Now, play 106. 106. 106. Now, this is a clip this is a short that me and Officer Baruch made a few weeks ago. Play that. No, not that. Is that what I, no. I want the video. The video, not that yet. I think I asked for, 104. 104, yeah. Play that. You need the sound.
Decrees and that right grievousness which they have prescribed, to turn aside the needy from judgment.
How you make it full screen? You can't do that?
To take away the right from the poor of my people, that widows may be their prey, and that they may rob the fatherless.
Thousands of black families moved from the South to escape oppression, racism, and Jim Crow, while St. Louis passed laws like the 1916 ordinance to keep black families out of their community. So this 1916 law barred blacks from moving into white neighborhoods. Once confined to the north side of Delmar, many blacks were denied home loans, homes decayed, businesses closed down, and schools fell apart.
Outer city kids, they have the best education. They have laptops, tablets, they have all these sports teams you can do, so much you can actually do. You know how they draw the pictures of heaven and hell or whatever? And they have the line. You can perfectly see that line, exactly where it splits. Like, okay, you look at our little cross signs or whatever, ours are all dented up or twisted. Theirs is written in cursive with nice, pretty silver lettering, and everything's perfect.
Decades of divestment north of Delmar leaves neighborhoods struggling, while south of Delmar has received steady enhancements. You see, as we come right across the street, without a shadow of a doubt, things are not the same. Summer 2025, St. Louis experienced one of the worst storms it's seen in the last century. Rebuilding on the south compared to the north exposes who's who and what's really going on. The Delmar Divide is not just a line on the map, it's Bible prophecy. Deuteronomy 28:16 warned the Israelites that they will be cursed in their cities, suffering inequalities and being ignored. So you tell me, who are we really? Right, so that's the point. When we film this short, y'all know Delmar, right? Delmar. It's just a regular street, no wider than this building, right? When you literally look on the north side of Delmar, opposed to the south side of Delmar, there is a drastic change. It's like you walked into a different universe. That's what the little girl was explaining. She's like, it's like somebody drew a map of heaven and hell. Literally, give me that. Get hell. Isaiah 5. That's what it looked like. All we did, if you can't see it all through the video, we literally just walked across the street. All them broken houses, all that stuff, that was right across the street. But when you look to the left side of the street, everything already rebuilt. This happened, almost a year ago now? Closing in on a year ago, right? Give me that. Read that.
Isaiah chapter 5 and verse 13. Therefore my people are gone into captivity.
What did we do?
Gone into captivity.
Come on.
Because they have no knowledge.
They have what?
No knowledge.
We don't have no knowledge of God. That's why we keep finding ourselves in these predicaments. That's why everything we start, it keep getting jacked up and tore down. Plans and plots to keep us down because we don't have no knowledge of God. Come on.
And their honorable men are famished.
You see that? Remember that old man I played in the beginning of the video and nobody could understand what he said? He was old, dried up, famished, fainted. No spirit of God in him. You can't even understand what that man's saying no more. Where the black leaders at that's talking about these issues? Why ain't the aldermen talking about this? Why they joining with the people that's benignly neglected our communities? Where they at? Come on.
And their multitude dried up.
That's the people you see. We all dried up in these communities. Ain't no life left in these communities. Ain't no life, ain't no spirit of God in these communities. It look jacked up. Come on.
dried up with thirst.
Read.
Therefore, hell hath enlarged herself.
Now hell done got bigger. They didn't enlarge the area where they put Negroes at. Keep all the Negroes on the north side of St. Louis. We don't want no niggas on the south. Maybe one or two gonna get through, but we're gonna keep the large majority of them. They're gonna be all dried up on the north side. In North County and North City. North County just as bad as North City, if not worse. Every time I leave the school on Saturday, it's a doggone car accident. I just seen a police chase on the way to the school. Crashing out. Remember that time I dropped you off at home and the dude just laid in the middle of the he stopped us and we driving.
Boy, ain't no way.
Dude just stopped and laid in the ground, laid on the middle of the street. In the middle of the night.
He gave up on life, man.
Gave up on life.
Because of the condition of the community.
Exactly, because what the scripture say, it says, what has enlarged herself?
Therefore hell hath enlarged herself, and opened her mouth without measure.
Read.
And their glory, and their multitude, and their pomp, and he that rejoiceth shall descend into it.
You see that? So hell hath enlarged herself upon us. That's what we see. The Delmar divide, like I said in the video, that's Deuteronomy 28:16. That's Psalms 83. These people make laws and ordinances, many of them, and it go into every aspect of your life. The reason why you got the job you got is because white people make sure you got that job. They want you to have those jobs, the particular job that you have. The reason why your community ain't got no grocery stores, because they don't want your community to have groceries. It's not by chance. Ain't none of this by chance. The white man, his thoughts is deep. He don't leave nothing to chance. The fact that your kids go to a certain school, that's not by chance. It's all been designed by the white man. Give me that and read verse 8.
Verse 8. Woe unto them that join house to house, that lay field to field.
That's when they put us all in these same communities. That's them ghettos, them slums, them projects. That's them projects. I had the projects on there too, but for sake of time, I didn't want to put that in. That go with the Affordable Housing Act. It's a lot of stuff that they did to destroy us and target us. Read it again.
Woe unto them that join house to house, that lay field to field.
Read.
Till there be no place.
Till there be what?
No place.
There ain't no more room. Ain't no more resources. Ain't no more room. Why you think black people act the way they act? Everybody out here trying to survive because it ain't enough space, it ain't enough room, and enough resources. So we'd kill each other. You think they didn't know that? You think they didn't know, we put all these Negroes in this town where there ain't no resource, ain't no grocery stores, ain't no jobs, no public assistance. They don't pick up your trash. What you think they gonna do to one another?
Damn.
Now it's so easy to just throw a couple guns in the community, throw a little crack in there, throw some drugs. Of course they'd do it. Of course they'd pick it up and sell it to one another. Of course they'd pick it up and shoot one another if they can get ahead a little bit. Finish reading that.
That they may be placed alone in the midst of the earth.
You see that? So that goes into the secret plots. Now get pull up the diagram 105 I think it was, or 106, and then give me Ezekiel chapter 35 verse 5. How long I've been teaching for? Okay, it's been an hour. Okay, let me hurry up. Y'all see this? Y'all see this, right? So I use ChatGPT to put all this together for me. This is all the stuff I really wanted to put in the class. So you see it got from 1806 to 2000. You see it, I divided it into housing, job/economy, and social community. When we got out of slavery, it says that's the Reconstruction or early black communities. Right after slavery, black people was trying. Remember, we couldn't read, we couldn't write. A lot of us didn't have we didn't have nothing to start with. So we started from scratch. So what black people would do, we tried to go start towns in abandoned areas or areas that weren't claimed yet. And then sometimes we incorporate them. An example of that would be Kinloch. Kinloch, they incorporated and made it an actual town, right? But this happened all around the United States, especially in the Midwest and the South. So then they had segregation going on at that time. How did black people make money? With the jobs and the economy? Sharecropping and wage labor. We got jobs working for other people, right? Then you had the industrial jobs. Some people moved to the north to get more industrial jobs. But if you look at the bottom of it, it says limited economic opportunities. Very limited economic opportunities, right? Then you have formation of freedmen communities. That goes into them starting up the towns, right? Then you got, says, black towns and schools. Remember, you had things like Rosewood. If anybody ever heard of Rosewood, that was a town in Florida, right? Florida, you had East St. Louis. Believe it or not, East St. Louis got burnt down just like Tulsa, Oklahoma. I had that in here, but we didn't have time for that. 1921, right? So all these things was simultaneously happening throughout the last century and whatnot. So then my point in stacking all this stuff up is to show you these are the fights that black people had to go through at the same time. So while when you look at the top for the housing, you have redlining in the covenants. The covenants is the laws that they made to keep black people out of the communities, which goes with the redlining. And the urban renewal projects, that's the benign neglect. We gonna just leave the community alone, let the community decay. So you got that going on. They not putting no money in the communities. They pushing all black people in the same areas. Then you had the white flight and suburbanation, right? That means, that's a lot. The point was, white people and black people live in St. Louis City, right? The way that the money is supposed to be divvied up for these public services is it's supposed to go where it's needed at, or equally. It's supposed to go equally to everybody, according to population and things like that. The problem was, before white people left the city, black people already weren't getting a fair portion of the cut of the tax money, right, for things like the maintenance and things of that nature. So when the white people left, now they getting even less of a cut of the portion. That makes sense. So if I had $200 and then black people was only getting 30 of them dollars, then you cut it down. Not 80 of them dollars gone. Now you only get 30% of that $20 that's left over. That's what happened. That's why the communities kept getting worse and worse. So you got all of this going on, redlining, no resources going in the community. Then it says de-industrialization, meaning factory jobs and the jobs left. So now you got no resources going into the community. You ain't got no jobs. At the same time, you got what they said at the bottom, the drug epidemic and crime, mass incarceration. You think all that stuff just lined up like that, but just by chance all that stuff lined up. I wanted to touch into the school systems. Y'all know I like talking about the school systems, but I ain't had time to today. Maybe I'll do that in a separate class. You got something else, Yuri? Go ahead.
Hey, I put some videos in the chat. I want you to play the first one and then the second one. Pull the graph up right quick, right before y'all play the video, so we can look at these time periods again. Because this is some heavy stuff. All right, so the early 1900s, it says Reconstruction in early black communities, and it says segregation laws. All right, now, if you can pull that first video, we're going to pay attention to that. The Reconstruction of black communities and segregation laws. The first video. Start it over.
Right there.
So right here we finna talk. He talking about Homer G. Phillips. It was a hospital on the north side. So this is the actual man, Homer G. Phillips. He was a black man in the community. He was actually giving loans to the black community when the white people wouldn't. So this is in the 1930s when they murdered him. So play that. That's the point right there. So Homer G. Phillips is in the black community and making sure everything is going down for the black community because he was a doctor and a lawyer and he was loaning out money for the community. Then they get two black men to kill Homer G. Phillips. They point him out in a lineup, but for some reason nobody is convicted. Don't that sound like a crafty counsel? Now, so you know what Esau say? You kill you chop off the head and the rest will scatter. Now go to the second video because what was it? 5 years after they killed him, they opened up a hospital in St. Louis called Homer G. Phillips. This was the biggest black hospital in the United States of America. So let's see what happened to the hospital. Play that video. And they shut down this hospital in 1969 or 79. And notice that that was the same time that they said that they was going to destroy all the homes in the black community, and there was no more funding for it. Play that. Now, you see how they took our hospital from us, and you see how much that affected the black people in the community. Like they were saying, there was no jobs, but our people was helping each other get through these problems. But Esau came through in the middle of the night, and they had the military, and they shut it off. If y'all actually look into the history, this was a big protest that happened in St. Louis. They had celebrities, black celebrities, Dick Gregory. There was a whole bunch of people down here protesting this. And they did it in the middle of the night to shut it down. But last point, go back to the graph just to show you also this is the history, and the graph is telling the truth. Like it said, the segregation laws started. They tried to kill Homer G. Phillips. The jobs was going, the economic jobs, they was trying to change it to where black people had to work into these warehouses, but we was already having jobs for ourselves in our community. And then right after the hospital got destroyed in the 79, drugs came into the neighborhood.
Hey, put the what I just posted in there real quick. Right. Just go all into what the officers bringing them about how Esau feel and how they think about us. Put up the AI. Read that real quick.
Urban renewal and displacement. During urban renewal and highway construction projects in the 1950s and 60s, many vibrant black neighborhoods were demolished or displaced. In many cases, the cemeteries are the only physical remains of those original communities.
So what's left after they destroyed it?
The cemeteries are the only physical remains of those original communities.
Right. Now get 2 Maccabees chapter 9. 2 Maccabees chapter 9 verse 1 real quick.
2 Maccabees chapter 9 and verse 1.
How you get that fast?
I saw your Bible.
Dang. They still looking. They like, Mac, he got superpowers, man. Yeah, he been oil for me lately, huh?
Oh, stop.
So it said after they destroyed the black communities, the cemetery was the only thing left. Now read 2 Maccabees 9 and 1.
2 Maccabees chapter 9 and verse 1. About that time came Antiochus with dishonor out of the country of Persia.
So Antiochus or Antiochus, this was a Greek, right? This so-called white man. Now let's see what he did. Jump down to verse 4.
Verse 4. Then swelling with anger, he thought to avenge upon the Jews the disgrace done unto him by those that made him flee.
Come on.
Therefore commanded he his chariot man to drive without ceasing, and to dispatch the journey. The judgment of God now following him. For he had spoken proudly in this sort. Then he would come to Jerusalem.
Hold on. For he had spoken proudly in this sort. Let's see what he said.
That he would come to Jerusalem and make it a common burying place of the Jews.
So that's how they think. They said, we're going to make this a burying place. We're going to take our cities, we're going to destroy them, and they're going to be burying. They're going to be graveyards. And this is what we see in the black community today. Now do me one favor. I'll put up another black AI. Pull it up real quick. This ain't nothing new. This is what we showing y'all. This is history repeats itself. They don't give a damn about you. They said we're gonna take the hospital Negroes, and only thing y'all gonna be good for is graveyards. You keep your graveyard, but we're gonna take your hospital. Yeah, the churches. Yeah, exactly. Hey, read that.
Historically,
jump up right. Go down a little more. So they're going to history. Read racial right there.
Racial intimidation and bigotry in both historical civil rights protests and modern rallies. Spitting has been identified by courts as an act motivated by racial bigotry or bias intended to harass or intimidate.
So they talking about spitting. Like when you see somebody you spit, like it's a sign of disrespect, or you spit on somebody. Read that right there.
Dehumanization. Spitting is widely considered one of the most degrading acts a person can commit, serving to treat the victim as less than human.
Right. So this one of the most degrading acts you could do is spit on somebody. Read.
During the civil rights movement, it was a common tactic used by the white counter-protesters to provoke or demean black activists who were practicing nonviolence.
Right. Christians like Martin Luther King. Now read that in Job real quick. Job 30. So this is what the white man did. They spit on us. The most degrading thing you could do to somebody is spit on them to let them know you ain't ish to me. Read Job 30. Come on, read verse 9.
Job chapter 30 and verse 9. And now am I their song. Yea, I am their byword.
Right. We know what that mean. Nigga, spit, coon, porch monkey. I'm their byword. What they call us now?
YNs?
Whatever they call us. Whatever they label us thugs in social media. You know. Ratchet. That's the name. When you think of Ratchet, they put that label there as the black woman. Read that.
They abhor me. They flee far from me.
They hate me. They flee far from me. That's going to what you was bringing out, redlining. They don't want to be by you. Right. And if you move in their communities, they moving out. Read.
And spare not to spit in my face.
Right. This, the so-called white man. They didn't spare to spit in your face out of their hatred or their racial anger for you. And we see what the officer bringing out. This is history when you research and do diligence of things that took place in St. Louis. That's it.
No, that's a heavy point. I was gonna bring that out, not that precept. No, not that one. The one about the grave. Your point about the graveyard, not that particular one, but the same point. The same point. That was heavy though. All right, we got like 10 minutes. All right, I got a few more scriptures. Where was I at?
Ezekiel 35?
Yes, give me Ezekiel 35. So the point was we were showing, pull up that image again. Pull up the image again. Hold Ezekiel 35. Give me Deuteronomy 28 and read verse 16. And I want you to read verse 45. Pull up that image. My point, I wanted this, I knew all this stuff happened, right? I said, okay, I found out all this information happened, right? I said, but I want to be able to show it how much oppression we was going through. That's why I wanted to stack it all up, and I wanted to put it in different categories just to show you all aspects of our life was just getting jacked up like it is today. It's the same stuff going on today, right? But this how much we be going through from the house ain't right. If your house ain't right, how you ain't got no rest, right? Your job, how you gonna make something happen? You ain't got no money, right? Scripture say, money answereth. And then in the community, you got this going on outside of your house. The Jim Crow, the mass incarceration, the drugs, the over-policing. You got to deal with all this like, dang, what's going on, right? Now, read Deuteronomy 28, verse 16, and then read verse 45.
Deuteronomy chapter 28 and verse 16.
Come on.
Cursed shalt thou be in the city.
That's what we read, and this is cursed in the city. This is cursed in the city. Read.
And cursed shalt thou be in the field.
Now, I know we always bring this out in terms of like actual fields, and it is because it go into sharecropping and stuff, right? But the fields also goes into like counties. Like you had the inner cities, and then you had the outer, like how Bishop was bringing out this weekend. He was showing in Leviticus 25, and he was explaining if you had a house inside of the walls, versus if you had land outside of the city, right? Like an example of that would be Kinloch. Kinloch was not a part of St. Louis City. Wellston was not a part of St. Louis City. It wasn't a part of the city. It was like an outskirts, right? That's why many blacks went to settle in those areas. Many of the areas that we settled in was in the outskirts or in the suburbs. We moved into the cities. You understand? So when it says cursed shalt thou be in the city and in the field, it is talking about fields because they have when you drive out outside the city, what you see? A bunch of fields, a bunch of farming fields, but you see houses out there too. People live out there. You understand? Now jump to verse 45.
In Deuteronomy chapter 28 and verse 45.
Uh-huh.
Moreover, all these curses shall come upon thee, and shall pursue thee, and overtake thee, till thou be destroyed.
Till thou be destroyed, read.
Because thou hearkenest not unto the voice of the Lord thy God,
read,
to keep his commandments and his statutes, which he commanded thee. And they shall be upon thee for a sign and for a wonder.
Now, the reason I wanted to read this is because these are, what we seeing, these are all signs for us to identify who we were. They did all these things to destroy us, right, so that we wouldn't remember. But the irony of God is these are the same things that's going to bring us back to remembrance of who we are. That's the irony of it. You understand? Read.
And upon thy seed forever.
Upon your seed forever. Right now, give me Ezekiel 35 and verse 5.
Ezekiel chapter 35 and verse 5.
Uh-huh.
Because thou hast had a perpetual hatred.
Esau, when you read verse 1, it talk about Mount Seir. We know that's Esau. Read.
And has shed the blood of the children of Israel.
What did they do?
And has shed the blood of the children of Israel.
Come on.
By the force of the sword.
They killed us. It's many examples of that. We could do a whole series on that. Come on.
And the time of their calamity.
Read.
And the time that their iniquity had an end.
Read that part again.
And the time of their calamity.
Uh-huh.
And the time that their iniquity had an end.
That's talking about when we got out of slavery. There was supposed to be a time when our judgment was supposed to be up. Pull that up again.
Put it on the screen.
Put it up again. Put it up again. The last thing. This is after slavery. He said it was a time when our iniquity was supposed to have an end. Obviously, our judgment ain't have no end. These people kept forwarding our oppression. All the stuff you see right here, that's them forwarding the oppression. This is Ezekiel 35 and 5. They didn't have no discernment. They didn't have no mercy to stop oppressing us when we got out of slavery. You got something?
Was you getting that precept, the affliction?
No, you can go ahead.
Zechariah 1:15, real quick. Read it real fast. We're on a time crunch. This just going more into at the time that our iniquity had an end. Because you see all the hatred that we face by the hands of our oppressors, our captors, the so-called white man who is Esau, Idumean, Edom, according to the Bible. Watch what the Lord said about them. Zechariah 1:15.
And I am very sore displeased with the heathen that are at ease.
Right, so God got a problem with the white man. He very sore displeased with the heathen. They at ease because they think they what? They all good. They can touch God's people. God ain't doing nothing to them. So, hey, they at ease. They comfortable. Read.
For I was but a little displeased, and they helped forward the affliction.
And they helped forward the affliction. For whose affliction? Our affliction. After the time that our iniquity had an end, like it said, 1865. Put the map back on the screen. 1860. So that's 1865. Ever since that, these are all the oppressions that they put on us outside of chattel slavery. So they forwarded our affliction at the time that our iniquity had an end. So God got a judgment for them. He got a mighty judgment waiting for these devils.
100%. Now give me Nehemiah 9 verse 36. We're going to wrap it up in a second. I'm going to cut some stuff out. Nehemiah 9:36.
Nehemiah chapter 9 and verse 36.
Uh-huh.
Behold, we are servants this day.
Read.
And for the land that thou gavest unto our fathers to eat the fruit thereof and the good thereof. Behold, we are servants in it.
We are what?
We are servants in it.
Now, I know when we reading this, it's talking about when they return back to the land of Israel, right? But remember, the Lord gave Northern Kingdom this side of the earth. Remember, when you read in 2nd Ezra, the Lord gave Northern Kingdom this side of the earth. So all of this is ours. Remember, Scripture said the whole world is made for our sake. But now we see in our own land that the Lord gave us, we servants. We don't enjoy none of this. Keep reading.
My bad. It says, and it yieldeth much increase unto the kings whom thou hast set over us.
You see the people that run these nations, this nation, they are enjoying all the benefits. That goes into us not. Remember when we saw in the video, it said the black people weren't getting none of the resources. Black people weren't getting none of the resources. But who was getting the resources? The white communities was. Come on.
Because of our sins.
Because of our what?
Our sins.
Read.
Also, they have dominion over our bodies.
They got dominion over our bodies. What that mean? They determine what schools you go to. They determine what part of the town you live in. They determine what jobs you get. They determine all of that. You think that stuff by chance? No, it's not. They determine all of that. Keep reading.
And over our cattle at their pleasure. And we are in great distress.
We in great distress. That's what we just saw. All that stuff we listed right there, that was great distress. Now give me Revelations 12:14. Revelations 12:14.
Revelation chapter 12 and verse 14. And to the woman were given 2 wings of a great eagle.
Now we understand when you read verse, I think it's 2 or 1, the woman is talking about Israel. Jeremiah 6 and 1. That woman is us. This woman, we got wings. We fled out of Israel into Africa at a point. Come on.
That she might fly into the wilderness.
That's Africa, read.
Into her place. Where she is nourished for a time.
Then we went to America. We came to America. That's the place where we were nourished for a time, read.
And times.
That's 2.
And half a time.
And that's a half, so you got 3, read.
From the face of the serpent.
From who?
The face of the serpent.
That's them having dominion over our bodies. When we came over here from they took us on boats from Africa and brought us over here to America to the place where we was nourished. That's them. And we fed from the serpent. That's them having dominion over our bodies. Putting us, redlining us into certain communities. That's us being fed from the serpent. Deuteronomy 28:48, real quick. What that mean? Deuteronomy 28:48. That's pretty much what this whole class about. Read that.
Deuteronomy chapter 28, verse 48.
Come on.
Therefore shalt thou serve thine enemies,
Read.
which the Lord shall send against thee in hunger.
Remember it said they don't give food to those that are hungry. We read in Isaiah, was it 32, I believe? I might be quoting it wrong. Which one? Read.
And in thirst.
We got to go to them for food and in water. Come on.
And in nakedness.
In nakedness, read.
And in want of all things.
That goes into places to live. That goes into places to send your children to go to school. That goes into places for you to go learn. Everything we got to go right back to this man. Come on.
And he shall put a yoke of iron upon thy neck until he have destroyed thee.
You see that? We've been destroyed. Now we don't know. Most of us don't know none of this history. We don't even understand how we got to the places we got. Most black people come from the South, but some of us don't even understand why we came up here. Some of us don't understand why you live in the neighborhood that you live in. Some of y'all then had to go buy houses before, and then you start to see, hold on, why is it I can't get where I want to live? Why I can't go? Yeah, this is why. This is why. This is why you can't move around how you want to move. This ain't your rest. This ain't our rest. Now, give me Zephaniah 2 and 1. I'm going to cut that out. Yeah, give me Zephaniah 2 and 1. We got 3 more scriptures. Zephaniah 2 and 1.
Zephaniah chapter 2 and verse 1.
Come on.
Gather yourselves together. Yea, gather together, O nation not desired.
You see, we not desired. But the scriptures say gather ourselves together, right? We already together, though. We just saw all this information to prove we all live in the same communities. Black people are already together. We already gathered together. So what is the Lord talking about when he say gather yourselves together? What's missing? We already together. Ain't nothing but Negroes in the hood. They done redlined us into all the same communities. Right? Get was that it on that? Yes, sir. Get Ephesians 4 and 4. Ephesians 4 and 4. What it mean gather yourselves together?
Ephesians chapter 4 and verse 4. There is one body and one spirit, even as ye are called in one hope of your calling.
Was that where it said endeavor to keep the unity? Verse 3. Read 3 and 4.
And endeavoring to keep the unity of the spirit in the bond of peace.
It said endeavoring to keep the unity in the spirit in the bond of peace. Come on.
There is one body.
It's one body.
And one spirit. Even as ye are called in one hope.
So we supposed to be endeavoring to keep the spirit. We supposed to be endeavoring to keep the unity in the spirit of this Bible. So even though all these black people live together, what's missing? They don't got the spirit. Ain't nobody endeavoring to keep the unity of the spirit in these black communities, in these red line communities. Nobody is. That's what the Lord mean by it says gather yourselves together. That's what's missing out of here. Right? Give me Acts We know what the spirit is, right? John 6:63, Romans 7:14. That's the spirit, the keeping of God's commandments. Give me Acts chapter 5, verse 38. It's the last one.
Acts chapter 5 and verse 38. And now I say unto you, refrain from these men, and let them alone. For if this counsel or this work be of men, it will come to naught.
And that's what we keep seeing. Every time you got all these councilmen, you got all these aldermen, you got all these mayors, these black mayors. It said they all of man. And that's why all this stuff you see, everything in our community, it come to naught. Friendly Temple talking about some they gonna build up Wellston. They ain't done nothing in Wellston except line their pockets, build a youth center with crackheads hanging right outside the front. How you gonna send your kid to the daycare and it's crackheads hanging out in the front? That's crazy. Right. The point is, it said that's how we know it's of man. It came to naught. Ain't nothing happened over there. It's dried up. Read.
But if it be of God.
But if we build and it be of God, that's what we doing. IUIC ain't seen a growth in the last 20 years. Come on.
Ye cannot overthrow it.
It said it won't be overthrown. It don't matter what plots they got. It don't matter what schemes they put together.
Come on.
If we move in the spirit of God, then we gonna be all right. What we build is gonna last. You understand? That it on that?
Lest happily ye be found even to fight against God.
You see that? And that's what these people really doing. They ain't fighting against us. They fighting against God. You know?
Across the earth, the prophets move. From city streets to distant lands, the message is the same. Israel must rise. Through every quest, every journey, the truth spreads. No border can contain it. No distance can silence it. Our nation lives in every moment. In joy, we celebrate marriages. In sorrow, we honor our dead. On the Sabbath, we gather as one. Families rejoicing together, bound by the commandments of God. Yet are we tried. From the stones in Kenya to the hatred in Montana, we endure as a soldier of the Lord. And still, the mission expands. On the airwaves, on the screens, in every nation under heaven, Israel's voice is heard. We build our communities. We raise our children in royalty. We restore what was broken. We clean what was defiled. We show the world who we are. This is Israel united in Christ. Nation in motion. Nation endures.